the big point shaving scandal in the 90s. The FBI would come to our team every year and specifically tell us that they're like, hey, we don't know if we got all the guys. If anybody tries to contact you, just know that the last time this went down, people died.
If LeBron and Wemby were drafted today, Wemby would go over LeBron. Do you still stand with that?
I stand by that 100%. It's less of, we didn't know what LeBron was going to become.
What is your relationship like with Bron now?
I've never liked the guy. We have a good relationship, just like, we did as teammates. Our relationship has maintained.
Okay, but you did play with Gilbert Arenas.
Yes, I played with Gilbert. Not one of my prouder times in life, but I did play with Gilbert. Yes,
but he's the reason that you guys lost against Duke.
100% is the reason. He was so...
What is one event in history that you would have loved to have been courtside for?
Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game.
Did it happen?
I'm going to say this. I will not disrespect the dead.
I didn't even know he was dead, honestly. Okay, Richard Jefferson, welcome to the Courtside Club.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you joining me. I had something else different planned for this episode to kick us off, but then Shams had another tweet that went out. I don't know if you saw it.
I have honestly, this is my first connection to the outside world today.
Okay, well, I'm going to connect you with another Shams bomb. The NBA informed its 30 teams that the league has begun process of reviewing policies regarding injury reporting, training and education of all personnel, and enhancing internal and external monitoring programs to identify betting activity of concern, per memo obtained by ESPN.
That sounds like something they should be doing. I think when you look at, as gambling has become increasingly more and more popular, as young athletes have money, have NIL money, and more, people are in the FanDuels, the DraftKings. They need to increase education. Like, hey, this is still for 99.9% of the population. There's still a 0.1 that you can't do this, and you have to understand why.
It kind of reminds me of when I was getting recruited for college, and they would, I don't know if it was the same for you, but they would put us in these rooms and make us watch those videos. And it was like, if you drink, if you gamble, if you take any sort of gift, this was before NIL, all those things, like this is what will happen. And it scared the crap out of me.
Yeah. It should. So I am of a unique space where I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona. When I was in high school, the Headache Smith stuff. It was junior high school, the Headache Smith from Arizona State, the big point shaving scandal in the 90s. Trust me, I'm a little bit older than you. But it was a very, very
What year was that?
I want to say it's 94, 92,
okay.
92, 94.
Okay.
Google it. People died. This was a huge point shaving scandal. When you read it, you're going to be like, because this is my thing. This has always been going on. Everyone tries to act like today it happened. No, there's always been these people. So because this happened in the state of Arizona, I was in high school. It happened at Arizona State. I go to University of Arizona to play basketball. The FBI would come to our team every year and specifically tell us that they're like, hey, we don't know if we got all the guys. Some of these guys are still floating out there that were a part of this criminal organization. If anybody tries to contact you, just know that the last time this went down, people died. It wasn't just intentions. Yeah, and there's literally a whole movie about it, and you'll see. But I say that to say is that we were given the same speech. It was super, super intense, and it's a part of education. They have to start educating. You can't educate at the same level if gambling and sports betting has risen to this level and you've been educating at the same level. You have to up the education.
During your playing career, did anybody ever approach you?
Wow, that is a offensive question. No.
You never know. Like, people could have approached you and you could have been like, no, I'm good. Do you know where I'm from?
No one, and I'm joking. That's not an offensive question. That's a great question. No, I was never approached, but understanding I was living in Jersey my first few years, and those things, again, in order to used to bet, you used to have to go through all these things. It was a little bit more difficult. Now
you have to go to people's houses and stuff.
Yeah, and you would have to have like a bookie, and you'd have to know a guy that knows a guy. Now it's open your phone and you have an app. So I think it's the exposure that people are getting is different. But no, I was not. I think, again, it is a much smaller fragment of people that would even consider something, given what you're risking to gain, right? With education, you realize how one little bet turns into 100, and typically once they get you once, they have you forever. Like, there's a whole lot of cyclical things that you need to educate these individuals on, and just really the whole sports community, not just basketball, but NFL, amateur sports, to let them know what's going on.
For sure. Well, this whole thing has kind of overshadowed a little bit the great basketball that we've seen for this first week in the NBA. And you were there for second day of opening week, yeah?
Yeah, second day and third day.
Yeah, second and third. I mean, the TV schedule for NBA this year is wild. We got a lot of channels.
Yes, I was looking around like, oh, hey, there we are. So it was an interesting couple of days.
What teams have stood out to you so far?
The teams that have stood out to me so far, you know what it is? I like the intensity. You look at OKC's won, some double overtime games, but, so Houston looks good. They're already, they're at the same toe-to-toe battle with OKC. I think Denver looks good. And also, I think the first 10 games of the season are fairly irrelevant, right? For the most part, because you have new coaches, you have new players, you've got new systems, you got players moving to new teams. It takes 20 games before we know who the bad teams are going to be. But it takes about 20 games before you're like, okay, are they where they're supposed to be? Are they further down? If in 10 games, the Houston Rockets are the 7th seed, we're kind of If in 20 games, they're the 7th seed, you're like, okay, what is it that they're lacking and how do you dissect where they need to improve? But to kind of look at teams in their first 4 to 5 games, the teams are still stretching right now. Referees are still in preseason. Everybody's still working out the kinks. So I don't stress too much about the first 4 or 5 games.
It's been wild though. I've been really impressed with the basketball because I feel like, I used to say NBA season starts on Christmas. That's when you see guys really going out there and putting in their all. Then we've had overtime games pretty much every single night. So it's been fun. Mm-hmm. 3 players right now that fans should keep their eye on.
I like to elevate the game, from a standpoint of, I think people should be watching what Wemby is doing. I know that's an obvious thing, but I think the more the community can spread the word to the casual fan of hey, those once in a lifetime moments and players. Well, there's one that just came. Y'all should come over here and start checking this out. This is different. We don't get these all the time over here. We want to share it. So I look at Wemby. I look at Evan Mobley's one of those players. I want to see his growth. He was doing things in game 1, just dribbling it up, off the dribble 3, playmaking a little bit. And if he continues to progress, which he should, he's still a very young player. If the defensive player of the year starts adding more and more offensive to his game, I think that could be really, really scary. And then after that, I want to see Anthony Edwards. I'm sticking with the stars. Okay. I say Anthony Edwards from a space of, he just has that extra little, I'm going to talk shit, so I got to go prove it. That's just the ant. I don't care. He wants all the smoke. He thinks competitiveness is fun, and I love that about him. And so to watch great players, especially in their early 20s, to see that early 20s is hey, okay, you're different. Now, the work you do there determines 26, 27, 28, 30s when you're in your peak and prime. And I think Anthony Edwards is a fun one to kind of watch grow.
For sure. Tough conference for him. But I want to go back to Wemby because you infamously said that if LeBron and Wemby were drafted today, Wemby would go over LeBron. Do you still stand with that?
Again, I stand by that 100%. Right. And it's less of, we didn't know what LeBron was going to become. We are, at 18.
I want to tell you, I'm sitting in Akron, Ohio currently. I'm visiting family at my parents' house right now. So,
no. First of all, understand this is a very basketball quad. This is very
No, I get it. I'm saying I've been watching him play since he was 14. We would go to those games. Yeah. Okay, continue.
This one stays. I hear you. I hear you. What I am communicating is this. If you look at the history of sports, the big man is always taken first, right? You always look at Hakeem and Olajuwon and Sam Bowie drafted over Michael Jordan. You look at Greg Oden drafted over Kevin Durant. You always look at the big 99% of the time goes first. That's just the way it is. LeBron James, like, he might have been the number one prospect, but there's just something about that size that is such a unicorn, right? So if you would have had that 7'3" monster at 17, 18 and LeBron James at 17, 18, now mind you, because it's Cleveland and they had the number one pick, let's just say it was an overall, let's say it was Dallas with the number one pick and they had to pick between the kid from Akron and the 7'4" unicorn that was doing what he's doing. That's the part. Now, Wemby has a lot to go before his basketball career, but as a prospect showing up, we have not seen that since, again, probably an Hakeem Olajuwon or a Bill Walton or a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, where you're like, oh, this big man's going to come here and destroy the league.
He also, the NBA was broadcasting his games in France before he even came over. Yeah, like they were ready. They're like, we're gonna build this hype a little bit. We're gonna get you guys comfortable with him.
If he was born in America, if he was from Georgia, if he was from Washington, and he would, trust me, the hype on him would be exponentially greater. So the NBA saw it coming, and they're like, hey, we know that foreign-grown players are very, very popular, but there's a difference in hype and from American-grown players. And so to start introducing the American audience to him as early as possible, it's like, hey, we've been doing this for a while, and there's a specimen that's growing over in France that you guys need to watch. And so that was their energy, and I respect it.
So we talked about draft, but what about his ceiling? Because you have LeBron, who's in a lot of people's top 2 players of all time, some people's top 1. What's Wemby's ceiling?
Well, again, you don't compare it because it's different, right? His longevity is a key to LeBron's career, without a doubt. So I don't look at like, oh, Wemby's he's got to be the all-time leading scorer. He can impact the game in a way that not many people in history have on both ends of the floor. He's so physically dominant, right, from the size and skill. He's so physically dominant that there is no answer to him. And so it's if Kevin Durant and Giannis had a baby and it grew another 4 inches. Like it is a scary thing. And so, well, I say that to say is that we don't know his ceiling. Half of his ceiling is going to be because can he stay healthy, right? If he's healthy and he's on the court, we know the numbers are going to break all the records just because he's so gifted and talented. So his ceiling, I think only time will tell that. Like I don't know it.
You said that about Shaq, too, about playing against Shaq. You were like, there's no... And you've also heard Shaq's commentary. Am I bringing back trauma?
Yes. Shaq was different.
Yeah. Well, we've heard Shaq even talk about Wemby and say, like, no, we've seen this before because other people are, like, losing their mind. Yeah. Me being one of them, seeing him, like, block a shot, come down, tween, in and out, dribble, crossover, like, step back, three-pointer and one. You know, that was different. That was different.
What do you do? But Shaq was different when he came in also. They had to change the equipment. The NBA had to change their equipment because of Shaq. That's something that is very, like, what one player makes you have to restructure everything. Yes, he was that physically strong and big and different. And so I think Wemby's the exact same, but in a different dominant way. Right, more in a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, more in like one of those he's so gifted, Wilt Chamberlain type way, where he's so much above everyone else that the gap is not even real.
Back to LeBron a little bit. What is your relationship like with Bron now?
Honestly,
we see you guys courtside and such.
I've never liked the guy. This is what I try and say. No, no, we have a good relationship. You know, just like we did as teammates. Our relationship has maintained. We have a group. With the Cavs that we all keep in touch with. But for the most part, I'm still on this side of the industry. I'm still an analyst. I'm still that space. So I have a job to do over here. And I think that's where our relationship has always had a good line of respect. It's like, I have a job to do over here, to be honest and real. I think he respects that. And then I obviously respect what he's doing for the game of basketball, what he's done for the game of basketball. So I think that's, really the basis of our relationship.
Well, Perk actually talked about it in a recent interview, and he said that he's lost friends since being in the media space. You're smirking.
Perk is different. And so, look, everybody has the way Perk approaches, being a basketball analyst is very different than myself. Everybody has their different ways of dissecting the game of basketball and talking about it and sharing information. I typically, I've stood by a rule that I'd never say something on television that I wouldn't say to the player's face. And so now I've said some wild things to players' faces, right? Because that's just part of like being in the league. Like I'll tell my teammates, like, bro, you are trash tonight. Hey, what is going on? Are you okay? Like I'll talk to my teammates that way. So if I communicate that on TV, it's typically from a fair analysis, like, yeah, this isn't it tonight. So my approach to calling the game and sharing information is a little bit different than other people that are probably in more of a intense approach.
Okay. You're keeping it like very clean. I've seen you're keeping it clean with me. I appreciate it.
We're building. It's all we are. We're building. That's all we're doing. We're building. We're getting there.
All right. Well, then I got to ask, was the LeBron versus Stephen A. Smith situation awkward for you, seeing that you work at ESPN and then you were the one who got roped into it because all the lip readers were like, did you see what LeBron said?
All these nosy people, man. Leave me. Like I said, I'm just over here working, minding my own business. There's nothing else that needs to be talked about. As far as the LeBron Stephen A. beef, I would say this is sports and entertainment, right? This is sports and entertainment. Beefs are real, but so is beefs in WWE, right? When you look at WWE that, ESPN covers so beautifully, and it's like you see the behind the scenes of how they don't like each other, and then it spills over into it's all a part of the drama machine. And that's what's fun. I'm not how they feel about each other. That has nothing to do with me. That's their space. But working at ESPN, I don't think that there is any complications, right? Like the world knows about my relationship. The basketball community knows where I work. So there is no like, oh, where does Richard stand? Man, I stand calling basketball games. That's what I do. I stand calling basketball games and I'm standing minding my own business.
Got it. Okay. Well, on Courtside Club, we like to take a halftime break. And I have some start bench cuts for you.
Oh, please.
You know how to play start bench cut?
Oh, this is one of my favorite games of all time.
Okay, perfect. Let's start off hot with the 3 finals teams that you lost to in the finals. So we have Tim Duncan and the David Robinson Spurs. We have Shaq and Kobe Lakers and the 73-win Warriors. Start bench cut.
Okay, so this is a very easy one for me, right? So we didn't win any games versus the Lakers. So they swept us. So I will put them as the number 1 team. The Spurs won 2 games. So I'm gonna bench them, and then I'm gonna have to cut the no. I'm gonna bench the Warriors. Are you talking about the team I lost to with Warriors?
Yeah. So you had 4 finals. You won 1 finals and then lost 3. Yes. Yeah, these are the teams that you lost against.
So so it's Lakers start, Warriors bench because we lost 4-1 to them, and then cut the Spurs because I beat them in 2 games, so they were obviously trash. So that's it. So cutting the Spurs team.
Got it. You played for Pop.
Yes, I did. I was very blessed and very fortunate. He's one of the coaches that still believes, rightfully so, that it's not just about coaching basketball, but it's how you coach basketball to prepare people for a larger, broader space in life. Like kind of like a college coach, where it's like, oh yeah, it's teaching about basketball, but I feel a responsibility to teach you also about life. We would have film sessions that were like just informational about the world and what's going on in the world. And he would sit here and just be like, see, we think we got a problem because we got to figure out our defense. These people have real problems.
Like what? Right? Give me an example.
You could show, whether it was, people on the other side of the world and that what they were struggling with. We would go and we would spend time at Walter Reed, or we went to, like when we went to the military hospital. Like he would put us in real life spaces and have conversations with us. And he would walk in, he's like, Danny, you guys know about what happened today with Bill 7? And you're like, what? No. And a bunch of 20-year-old kids in there. He's like, well, Bill 796 says XYZ did this. And he would inform everybody about what that meant. So just make sure you guys are paying attention to these things. And you leave it, and you're like, man, the way he approached it was he's teaching basketball, but he's also incorporating life and what other things that are important in keeping perspective. And some coaches ball is life, right? Pop is more of like ball is a part of life.
Yeah. I feel like that's the culture in San Antonio too. Even like I've done Spurs Media Day the past 3 seasons. And so interview all the players and just how humble they all are and how like on board they are with the Spurs system, whether he's there or not. So it's cool to see.
Yeah. Well, it's cool to see because they just believe that they have a type of system, a type of player, a type of group that they want to build. So when they're recruiting, their questions and the way they're like communicating with people is through that. Right. So that's the part where it's not like, oh, who's the most talented? Who's the best on the board? It's like, no, who has the character to handle and be a part of what we want to build?
Yeah. Okay. Next start bench cut, your former teammates. So we have LeBron, Steph, and Tim Duncan.
You know what? Well, I won the championship with LeBron, so I got to start him. Got to. That sucks. And then,
Us Ohioans appreciate that one.
You know what? Then I'm gonna bench Steph and I'm cutting Tim. I just don't think he's as good as people try and give him credit for. That's the part that really bothers me about Tim. I think time will show us that he was one of the more overhyped players in NBA history. And I also think more and more that people remember him. I think they will dislike his game. And that's why I'm actually quite excited to cut Tim.
I can't tell if this is sarcasm or not, because I feel like most people are saying that he's not hyped up enough for how good he was.
Well, most people don't know him personally. People, I think the more you know him personally, you think he was hyped probably like properly or too much.
Got it. Okay, last but not least, your co-hosts on Road Trippin'. We have Allie, Channing, and Perk.
Oh, start Allie, bench Channing, cut Perk. Honestly, cut Perk. It's like you tell your little brother, like, hey man, come join Road Tripping. I love you. We'd love to have you, your family. We're in the locker room together. And then he starts wilding out and you're just like, come on, man, what are you doing? So not joking. Perk is very, very fun to work with, but ultimately, I would cut him in a second, mainly because Channing would get sensitive if I cut him.
Channing would get sensitive. Well, you played with Channing in college.
Yes. Well, we at the same college, we missed each other by a year. I recruited him and told him I was staying for my senior year, and then he showed up, and I was like, I'm going to the NBA. So we were supposed to overlap. We didn't.
Got it. Okay, but you did play with Gilbert Arenas.
Oh yes, I did. Yes, I played with Gilbert. Not one of my prouder times in life, but I did play with Gilbert. Yes,
but he's the reason that you guys lost against Duke.
100%.
I've heard.
100% is the reason. He was so bad defensively, offensively. Like, give us something. Yeah, that was the reason why we lost. And he knows it. That's why he likes to crack jokes at me, because he knows genuinely he was a great player, but he typically did not show up in the biggest games.
I think that I heard him say that he was injured or something for that game, and that's why, or he was sore or something, and that was the one game that you had a good game and he had a bad game, I guess, and that's the only one that you remember. I don't know. I didn't watch the game. I'm sorry to admit.
I would rather have one good game in the biggest game than to have a bunch of good games prior to that. Show me what you do in your biggest moments. And we've seen Gilbert, miss some free throws. We've seen him do some things, again, but this is only coming from a person that played in 4 NBA finals. For Gilbert, never have played in a conference final. I understand why he doesn't understand the magnitude of those moments.
From the 4 finals, you won 1, you have 1 championship, and then the 3 losses plus the NCAA final championship. Which one hurt the worst?
The Olympics.
I didn't even throw that one in there. What?
Yes, man.
Wait a
Just,
second.
if we were since we were kicking my dog, you know what I'm saying? We just like
Dang.
do it again. Nah, you know what? The Olympics hurt the worst. I think the Olympics one hurts worse the further you get away from it. Not from like a sting standpoint. But when like me, as I was a very good player, I was never a great player. But to see that the Olympic teams get to go in the Hall of Fame, like what the hell? I could have been a Hall of Famer.
Is that a real thing? Everybody?
100%. If you win the gold medal, that's where Carmelo. I think it was LeBron made it for the Redeem team. So if you win the gold medal, you go in the Basketball Hall of Fame. That's part of it. That's why they just had like Dwight Howard and all of them just at the Olympics this past year. Yeah. How about that?
I didn't know. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize like just if you.
Neither did I.
Dang.
You know. So yeah, no. But
No,
that,
you have plenty of accolades.
don't do that. This is what I'm saying. As a basketball player, I could have gotten that Tyrese Halliburton medal, you know, that class project and did nothing. That's what I was hoping for. And then I could have been in the Hall of Fame randomly as a part of an Olympic gold medalist team. But no, we had to suck. So that one probably hurts the worst the further I get away.
Dang. No, I get that. I get that. All right. Well, you did play for 8 different NBA teams in your career. I want you to rank them. I'll list them out for you. It's kind of like a blind ranking, but obviously you know who you played for. So, but we'll go down the list 1 through 8. We have the Cavs. Where are we slotting them?
That's tough. We're gonna put them at.
And this is just your experience too. Like
this
it doesn't have to
say.
be based on like best. Yeah, go for it.
We're gonna put them at 2.
Okay, got it. Cavs 2. What about the Mavs?
4.
Okay. How about Denver?
7.
Okay. How about Spurs?
3.
Okay. Utah?
6. Is 6 still available?
6 is available, yeah.
6.
You have like 1 and 8 still available, I think. Oh wait, no. Nets?
1.
Nets 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Warriors?
Ooh. I had a great time there. Did I only have 1 and 8? Or do I have 7?
No, you have 8 and 5.
All right, I have 5. Okay, Warriors 5.
Warriors 5, and then the Bucks.
The reason why the Bucks, excuse me, let me make sure we understand. Andrew Bogut hurt his back, so he missed 40 games, and then Michael Redd tore his ACL, so he missed like 50 games. So like our 2 best players were out for the season, halfway through the season, so that kind of killed any. So pure basketball placing.
And then your 1 was the Nets, even though you didn't win the championship with them.
Yeah.
But I've heard you talk about just kind of putting that team on the map during that time.
Yeah, it was fun. When I got drafted, again, this was 25 years ago, but the Nets team had never had any sort of success. That we were picked to finish second to last and literally no success before. They had had maybe 1, maybe 2 playoff victories over the course of their time in the NBA since the 80s. And so for us to show up there and really create the whole swell and swing of relevancy for a franchise like that there's something winning a championship for a franchise there's something significant in connecting to the fan base, but there's also something about making a franchise relevant for a sustained period of time for the first time. And you know, I was fortunate to do that, and it was just that group. And then you look at things like Kyrie Irving growing up a Nets fan because he watched Jason Kidd and Kenyon Martin and Vince Carter. So then all of a sudden for him to want to play for the Nets, that's part of it. You build this culture, right? And that kids want to go play or they remember watching their favorite player. And then you have Kevin Durant there. And all of a sudden there's just a relevancy that the Nets are appealing for the first time ever. And that really started back in 2001 with those 2 finals teams.
Did you change arenas also when you were there, or was that before you?
No, so we knew we were leaving. So like my last 2 years, they'd already broke ground. They did all the things, but we went through multiple ownerships. There's like 3 different ownerships. There was so much instability in the shift, we recognized that they, like, no matter how good we were never going to generate a fan base. They didn't want to build a new arena where that was located. So there was so much flux going on behind the scenes that for us to then translate that into wins and like building a fan base, that part was that made it even more fun, because it wasn't like we had this new building and we had this and we changed. No, it was like, hey, this thing is we're keeping this thing afloat. We're keeping this thing from burning down. And that part was, we had such a good fan base, and luckily they've stayed. A lot of the Jersey people have stayed as Brooklyn supporters.
That's cool. So speaking of owners, you're no stranger to what a lockout can look like in professional sports. So have you been following along kind of what's going on in the WNBA currently?
Yes, I have. And it is one of those things that, I'm really interested to see how this plays out. I think at the end of the day, it's going to play out, because they all do. No league has like folded or disappeared, but these can be tense moments.
Well, it's different too with the NBA, because your season is obviously a lot longer than the W's also. Like, it's such a shortened season. It's only 44 games too. So pushing back or even for a significant amount of time changes a lot. So what advice would you give the ladies in this CBA?
I would tell them to trust their instincts. I think, obviously there's been a lot of criticism about the commissioner. And there's been that, obviously that dynamic between, the league and the players. And look, I've seen enough stories and been a part of them, and David Stern, and the commissioner works for the owners, right? If you're not happy with the commissioner, that's another topic, right? Don't get so fixated on that. That is the person that works for the league. They're trying to do what's best for the owners. You have the head of your players association, and they're trying to do what's best for the players. And the job is to come together and meet in the middle. And I believe that the Players Association on the women's side, I think they have great leadership, and I think they'll end up coming together with a term. Now, we already know that there's going to be a significant increase. We know that. But their job is really to fight for every percentage, every inch, every drop that they can, because they all have a window of playing time over the course of their career. So they should be stubborn on a level, but also I think that they should, also be open-minded. And so that's one of those ones where they have to meet in the middle. And I think the women have great leadership, and I think they'll get what they deserve.
Yeah, the sticking point seems to be for a revenue split, but the league doesn't own their whole league like the NBA does.
Yeah.
And so that's where the NBA owns 42% of the WNBA, and then other stakeholders hold another 16% of it, and then the WNBA has 42% of their own league. And so I think that's
people have to understand. That's the thing. It's like there's an equation here that's different than other sports leagues. So you can't just use every single thing. It's like, well, look at this template. It's like, well, their template doesn't have the same split that we do. So that's where it's like, I won't speak out of turn. I will not act like I know the numbers and the dynamics. But I do believe that if you have intelligent leadership that has a goal of continuing to grow the league is bigger than it's ever been. It's more popular than it's ever been. And these are things that have taken, years and years and years. So it's all about the leadership. And I believe that the WNBA and the Players Association on the women's side, that they'll figure it out.
You've talked a lot about Magic Johnson and how he's impacted and elevated the NBA. Do you feel like Caitlin has done something similar for the W?
Yes, 100%. I think when you look at it, and obviously there's a competitive side. The WNBA is one of the most difficult statistically leagues to play in, right? With the number of roster spots. And so there's an inherent competitiveness that goes on within that. But I think you look at what Steph and LeBron have done for the game. You look at what Magic and Larry did for the game. You look at what Jordan carried. There's so many. If you look at the course of NBA history, there's blocks of times where superstar players moved it forward, right? And so I think when you look at what Caitlin Clark and really the rivalries that started in college and Angel Reese and those games, that buzz from college brought that energy to the WNBA. Very similar to how the rivalry between Magic and Larry brought that rivalry to the NBA, and then it continued to grow. So, what Caitlin Clark has done, what this entire women's group has done, has been very, very impressive. And it's like you're proud, right? As a hooper, it's like I'm proud that they're getting the attention that they deserve. I'm proud that people are starting to recognize that they are some of the most talented hoopers on the planet. And sometimes it takes a moment, but they all figure it out.
You talked about Caitlin and Steph. Do you think that they've ruined the youth game?
No,
I'm just kidding.
I kid's not. It's like we can't. Yes, the 3-point shot is something that kids feel that they can do, right? Shaq didn't ruin a game because everybody was trying to dunk. It's just something that makes them very, very relatable. But I think that they've helped grow the game, right? Wemby would not be shooting 35-foot threes had Steph not made it acceptable. Now, all of a sudden, we have a 7'5" guy that's doing it. And now we're like, that's ruined the game. Because it's like, well, we can't. Normally, this man would be training how to do a hook shot. Now he's out here practicing tweens and around the backs and 35-foot. Like, come on. So that's the stuff that I think is funny when you kind of watch the progression of the sport. But Mel, I think that they just evolved the game, and I think the game has evolved before. We talked about Shaq changing the equipment. We saw Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bill Walton. They weren't allowed to dunk because it was going to be unfair. So certain players are so good where they almost invoke rule changes or flow changes. And that's one of the things that Steph and I think Caitlin Clark have done.
Okay, speaking of rule changes, I know we're a little ahead of it, but the All-Star game. What would be your rule changes, or what do you think needs to happen? Because you talked about it before, about how Michael Jordan set the tone when it came to All-Star games.
There's a laziness amongst the players that I think is unspoken, that like I haven't quite figured out. I won't speak out of turn as a never been All-Star, but I think there's an idea of what you want, and the players, for whatever reason, aren't enjoying it. Because that's what it looks like. It looks like they don't enjoy it. If you're going to put on your shoes, I at least want to enjoy it. And so that's something for them to discuss and figure it out. As far as I'm concerned, my focus is the Celebrity All-Star Game. That's a show. That's the one that we do at ESPN. That's the one I'm going to call. I'm doing that in LA.
Did you call my 2 games?
No. I've only done the last 2. When was yours?
17 and 18. I did New Orleans and LA.
I just started in like 2022.
Dang, I was lighting them up in LA.
That
would have been a fun one.
I'm excited. My little boys are 8 and 10. They were ball boys in San Francisco. I was like, hey, do you guys want to be ball boys for the celebrity game in LA? Their eyes lit up. So that game is fun. I'm excited because it's LA. So the people, we might get we had some good ones. We had Drewski, we had Shabuzi, we had some good ones.
When I was in LA, it was like Justin Bieber, Jamie Foxx was in there, Mark Cuban. Oh, no, Mark Cuban was New Orleans. Candace Parker played in my game. Yeah, it was great. I think actually was Paul Pierce in that game too? I think he was, like, randomly. They had some NBA guys too. Yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah. That'll be real fun.
The All-Star game, that's somebody else's problem, right? That's somebody else. I don't know. They got to figure that out. But I know that celebrity game is going to be popping.
You've been in media too long. You know how to like skirt. I'm just gonna.
No, that wasn't even in school.
You definitely skirted around that one.
This is how my bosses hustled me at ESPN. They go, I was like, hey boss, like, if I could get the celebrity All-Star game off, this is my only obligation. I could go take my family and go do something. And my boss looked at me. He's like, well, what if we had your kids be ball boys? And I'm like, give the slow look up, like, now you're talking. So that for me is, I think the reason why I shift to that is because I don't know what's wrong with that game, but this game is going to be fun. It's going to be courtside high-fiving Drewski as he's in layup lines. That to me is, as a dad, that part makes me excited.
Yeah, what top 3 celebs you want to see in your celebrity game?
In my celebrity game, you know what? I don't have a top 3, and let me explain. I want to be surprised. I'd want to see it and then give you my top 3 after. right? Surprise me. I like celebrity surprise. It's a game.
I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Celebrity surprise. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's like,
We'll throw in. I want to
pasta
think of
surprise.
somebody who seems like the most unathletic celebrity that there possibly is, who would just.
Oh, let me see.
Because there are levels also in the celebrity game. Like some people are decent, you know, like pretty good at ball. Like Candace Parker guarded me once. And like I had like regular celebrities guarding me, and then she comes and I'm like about ready to shoot a three because that's all I do. And she goes, "You better not shoot that. You better not shoot that." I said, "You're right." Passed it up. I'm like, there's no way. So you meet somebody like that, and you're like, okay, never mind. But then there's other people, you know, like little musicians and things. And
when you start to see, it's like, wait, J. Cole can hoop. Oh, Chris Brown can hoop. Okay, Justin Bieber. I did a celebrity all-star game 20 years ago with Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake, hell of a shooter. And so like that to me is always like, oh, okay, you know ball. You like basketball. I'll give you one. I want to see Adam Sandler in it. I want Adam Sandler.
Yes, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Every time I see random things of him hooping in the park, I'm jealous. As a park kid, I didn't play organized basketball till I was a teenager. So for me, it was always the park. So to see Adam Sandler in those 90s basketball shorts hooping like we used to hoop back in the day, that's one I'll put on the list.
He seems like just a really cool guy.
Yeah.
Well, let ESPN know if they need like a red carpet host or anything. I'm familiar. I've got you guys. If you need it, I'm around.
Okay. So first of all, if you could put in a good word for me also at ESPN, I need all of it. I need all of it. Like,
no, you don't know. Courtside Club used to be on ESPN and it just didn't work out so good. So, you know, not there anymore.
Yeah, you know what?
It's all good.
It's all good. No, no hard feelings.
You're just gonna stay like you do with Stephen A. and LeBron. I'm just there to report.
I enjoy finding ways to be neutral, like Switzerland. That just keep me out.
You're doing a fantastic job.
Well, but I will say this: you do an outstanding job. When Allie Clifton hit me up and she mentioned your podcast, it was an automatic yes. She's like, let's just get it on the date. I enjoy every piece of basketball content from everyone, and then you find people that take the time, that research the things, and you do a very, very good job. So I
appreciate that. Thank you.
Their loss because you do a very, very good job. I'll give you that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Before I let you go, I do want to talk about reviving the Richard Show.
Ooh.
Wait, is that dead in the water after just Hallie? After the Halliban?
No, I'm just cheesy. I'm just
okay. I was like, we have more on deck, correct?
Yeah, the new episode dropping in a week.
Amazing. Do we have any teasers for it?
Oh, let me just say, I've been having so much fun doing it. The Richard Show has been fun. We have Jalen Brunson coming. He's a bit of a, you know how when you can't call kids like a little shit, you're just like, he's a bit of a munchkin, or
I think that's worse.
Well, no, okay, I get this. There's a size reference there, but that's what I say. It's like, when you want to choke your kid and you're just like, he's being a bit of a munchkin today. Like, that's him. He's just he's a little shit starter. He likes to, poke the bear. He's the friend in the group that's always like whispering. He's like, let him say that to you. Man, I can't believe you did. He's the instigator. And it was really fun to figure that out. But we're excited. We have some good guests coming up. We're still trying to book guys. So guys, if you see this, love to have you on the Richard Show.
Cool. Well, the first episode was good. I liked it. Yeah. It was funny. It was good.
Season 1, Tim Duncan, one episode. That was
yeah, but then it got like 2 million views one episode.
Right. Yes.
I saw a comment there like Richard disappears for like however many years, comes back with another banger. So
yeah, I'm glad they liked it. I was gonna wait 18 months again before I released another one, but I figured the funniest comment I saw was, "Oh, Richard found his YouTube password again." I see.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like I was like, "That's good. That's a funny one." No, what happened was I did it during the postseason. I had the idea for it. Tim was such a good dude, and I knew he liked to talk shit. So I was like, "Hey, here's my concept. Here's my idea. I'm calling in a favor." He came out of hiding like Bigfoot does, and he came out of hiding, did the podcast, and then once the concept was there, it was very easy to, okay, like I see it's there. But then last year I was really focused on calling the NBA Finals, and I was so locked in, like no external like distractions. So once I got through that, and then I had a moment to breathe, and it's like, okay, now I want this opportunity to do this. And then we filmed most of it over the course of the season so that when the season starts, I could be focused on that. But I think the part for me is that the way media is, podcasts have helped, but the way media has covered our league, and it's so, intense, that I think for players to come and just sit and laugh and joke and ask and be asked stupid, irrelevant questions and laugh, that to me is what I always wanted to see as a kid. That's why we loved Inside Stuff growing up. That's why we loved shows that were just like, dude, I don't care about his legacy. I want to know what silly stuff he laughs at. What's his favorite cartoon? Those are the things that I think humanizes players. And I feel very lucky that I can be in a position to help humanize like my brothers in our league and elevate our players. I've put out Ask the WNBA, so if you could help me out. So we've got the WNBA players.
Cool.
I know this is the off season. I know
dream WNBA player for your show.
No, okay. Well, we've put out some WNBA Ask. So
yeah, I know, but your dream player, you have the megaphone here. We've got a solid WNBA audience here on Courtside.
Oh. Probably Napheesa.
Okay.
Yes, that's probably my number one right now. And it's I've been a huge fan of her game. I was watching the game when she got hurt.
Was that a foul or not?
It's tough because she was picked so clean off the bone. She comes off, she jumps through, and then the contact happened after the ball was loose. Now, again, that's a judgment call. You could call the foul because you could say you went through her.
You are really tight-lining every single question. I stood 10 toes down. NBA referees came out and said that's not a foul, and I was like, there's no way you are going to convince me that is not a foul. If that happened, think if that happened to LeBron.
Okay, wait, stay. See, because you're focused. I think what makes it worse is that we're focusing on the injury too. If you look at how she came across, that ball was picked clean before one drop of contact. The ball was picked.
I
clean.
I agree.
Once that ball is picked clean and is no longer a part of her possession, now it is a loose ball that everyone's chasing over equally.
It's not, because I looked at the rules.
Tell me the rules. Tell me the rules.
Okay, so here's the thing. If the mystery that you have to solve is if she could have made that steal without contact, and if she couldn't have
before the steal was made. No.
But then she made contact after. She made significant contact.
Very significant.
Right. So could she have done that without making that significant contact? And if she couldn't have, then it's considered a foul, even though she got the pick clean. And I don't have the exact whatever in front of me, but I went back to the rule book because I was like,
"You do this, made."
Okay. Because it wasn't also just a little she went through. It was just close to her hip. She really, and I don't think it was dirty. I don't think any of that.
No. And that's what makes the play so argumentative, and that's beautiful about basketball. Is it's still a split-second judgment time. I would have felt a lot better had she not rolled her ankle, right? Because that was the really most devastating part. The steal was not devastating.
Top two player in the league,
yeah. That's why when she rolled her ankle, that's when the steal becomes okay. But for me as a player, if you pick someone that clean, it was she's coming off, she picks them. Now that ball's loose. Napheesa's and then that's when the ankle goes, right? Yes, 1,000% there's contact. But if I'm the defensive player,
you got to do a little hop, skip around.
If I'm the defensive player, it's not a foul. If I'm the offensive player, that's a foul. That's the most straight I can play. If I'm a defensive player, that's not a foul a million times. If I'm an offensive player, I want that foul called 100% of the time. So it just depends on what position you're in.
Well, Coach Cheryl Reeve also almost, she was stalking down the referee, which that was funny. I get it. There's a lot of passion behind it. But anyway, Napheesa, if you're watching, Richard would love to have you on the Richard Show.
We got the ask.
You can talk about the foul there. You guys can discuss.
We can. When she's there, it's 100%. You were fouled. I don't understand why they didn't call it. Honestly, that's what I had the whole time. I had a foul the whole time. I talked to her.
That's funny. Okay, before I let you go, I have some quick courtside questions for you. So, Who is one person, dead or alive, that you would love to sit courtside with?
I'd say my dad, who passed. my yeah, my style. Because I'm like, forget celebrity figures. If I could bring back one person for to hang out with for one courtside, I'd pick my pops.
I love that. Okay, what's the best game you've ever been courtside for?
Best game.
This is not playing, not like on the bench courtside, like
Game 1 of the NBA Finals this past year. Game 1 with Tyrese Halliburton hitting the game winner. I think that was the craziest shot that I was ever courtside for was Kyrie's left hand like floater 19-footer.
Yeah.
Like what does and it was so pretty and it was so beautiful and it was just like that was one of the craziest shots. But if I had to say the best game I've ever been courtside for, it was Game 1 of the finals. The Pacers are coming back. They're keeping the pressure. OKC, and then Halliburton does it again. He does it again. Like to see what he had done in every round and then to start off Game 1 with the NBA Finals, my first finals, it is an explosion. I don't care what anybody said about Indiana, OKC, and these small markets. After Game 1, they had everyone's attention. And that to me is a compliment to Tyrese. But that was the craziest game. To be in a game, to have a game winner, buzzer beater at the NBA final, like that's storybook. And so to be there and to have that be the first game of the finals and just set the tone, because everyone's like, oh, Indiana or OKC in 5, OKC in
That's
6.
what I was saying, yeah.
Everybody was. They looked unstoppable. And I think we underestimated Indiana. We underestimated Tyrese's greatness and his play for the game. And so to watch him kind of shock the world and set the tone, that was special.
That was cool. And last but not least, what is one event in history that you would have loved to have been courtside for? This could be a sporting event or other.
What thing would I like to be courtside for? Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game.
Thank you. Yeah. Did it happen?
Look, I'm going to say this. I will not disrespect the dead.
I didn't even know he was dead, honestly.
He died in like the 90s, so it's okay. He might have been born. But
honestly, that era and like a little before, it kind of gets a little
it's fine. It's
me.
fuzzy for me. I was a nerd. I was really a basketball nerd. That's why I love this job, is because like I was the kid that was studying all the stupid stuff in basketball. But Wilt Chamberlain, 100-point game. I won't. Let me say this. No, I don't hear a lot of players from that era disagree. Right? It's kind of like, if they were to disagree, then I would be like, if you had George Gervin, if you had Jerry West being like, hell no, it didn't score 100 points. If they would have been, if they were skeptical, if there was skepticism, they didn't have to keep a secret. It's not the moon landing where they're trying to keep a secret. Right? They're like, it's not like we got to grow the game. Let's keep this hush. No, these are hyper competitive dudes, and ain't none of them questioning it. The funniest thing, Bill Walton, God rest his soul, he told me a funny story. He said that Wilt Chamberlain in practice, if he ever caught the ball in the paint, he would catch the ball in the paint and he would just drop the ball and run back on defense.
Because he was going to score anyway, so it was like, whatever, so I'm not even going to expend the energy.
You would just drop it like that was point and go. Why take the effort to go do it? I caught the ball in the paint, I drop it, let's go. And they just like, when Bill Walton is telling you these stories of Wilt Chamberlain was so good, if he caught the ball in the paint, he would just catch it, call bucket, drop it, and run back on defense. And you're just like, okay, yeah. So when you hear those stories from players, that makes me say, like, I don't know if he did or didn't. I wasn't in the building. But if none of them are questioning his greatness, how the dare we? Like, that's my
Fair enough.
If they ain't doing it, and I know how grumpy and competitive some of these dudes were, I'm not going to be the one to be like, that player wasn't that great. They were like, yes, he was.
We're just used to an iPhone era and seeing literally everything and multiple angles of everything. But this one will have to remain a myth. But if we ever find that footage.
What do you mean? It's not a myth. It's not.
Well, it's. I mean, okay, so rephrase that. Maybe not a myth. What's the word? Like, because the moon landing.
Part of lore.
The lore. Yes. Okay. That's a better word.
The story that we like. It's in the books.
The man, the myth, the legend.
But think about it.
Wilt Chamberlain.
We've seen players score 70. We've seen players score 80.
Yeah.
We've seen players like Wilt.
But they didn't have a 3-point line then either, correct?
Yes, George Gervin scored 70 without a 3-point line.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Right. So I say that to say is it really outlandish that the Giannis and Wemby baby and Wilt Chamberlain didn't do something like that? Right. He led the league in assists because the year after he broke all the scoring records, they said he didn't pass. So he decided to go lead the league in assists. That's why he's one of the top players all time in triple doubles, because he was going to get the rebound. So he would just start passing the ball. And it was like, oh, I can't pass. Let me show you what I could do. So that's where I'll stand firm with Wilt.
Yeah, I'm getting a little history lesson here. I appreciate it.
It's just a rare opportunity where my useless information has a purpose.
Well, I'm glad you found it here on Courtside. You're able to share. But Richard, with that, thank you so much for joining us. I know you're super busy. Enjoy the rest of the season, but keep us posted on that celebrity game too. We'll be tapped in.
100%. You got to come on road trip, and we'd love to have you. Let's talk some
Please.
WNBA. Let's update it. You can be our WNBA like person that gives us all of our professional knowledge, because you do a great job of covering it. You know more than most people in the space. You know more than us. So I like being informed. As you can see, I'm a person that likes information. So love to have you on the pod.
Anytime. Let me know.